I love being in Dulwich Park. I love being close to nature. I used to do a lot of walking in the mountains, so I'd miss that. And this is about the closest I can get to it these days. It's got a 1.4 kilometre circuit, so for a manual wheelchair user like me, it's a good aerobic workout, good workout for my arms and upper body as well. In springtime, I love to see the leaves coming through on that tree. And now in the winter, of course, it's bare, but it's still magisterial. It's a beautiful tree, so I love looking at that, yes.
You used to relax by being quite an outdoorsy guy, being quite active. What was that about and like for you?
Yeah, I was very outdoorsy, actually. Before I got ill, I was into mountain climbing, mountain walking, off-piste skiing, all these extreme sports, really. So to a certain degree, my life was kind of defined by being outdoors and camping, wild camping and things like that. Then I got very, very seriously ill in 2012 with a very rare autoimmune illness called acute disseminated encephalomyelitis, or ADEM for short. And it almost killed me, actually. I was in hospital for 40 days, totally paralysed, lost my hearing, which is the scariest part, and just about made it out after 40 days, but in a wheelchair, and then began the slow climb up the other side with lots of physio. At that time, of course, it was unclear whether I was going to be able to go back to my job at the BBC. It was so serious, but over about the next 8 or 9 months, I rehabilitated with a lot of physio to the point where I could go back to work. But it's been a massive life change, as you can imagine.
Well, yeah, how have you come to terms with that?
Well, it's work in progress, to be honest, but I have come to terms with it a bit, quite a lot probably, really. And that is partly about accepting that I am limited in my mobility, but recognising the fact that, and this sounds like a really bizarre thing to say, but being ill, there have been some benefits to my life in a way, psychologically. It certainly teaches you to be grateful for things you do have. Being that ill and surviving makes you realise what's really, really important, which is the ability to think, to have relationships, friendships, things like that. So it's been quite an eye-opener, that.
And how has that impacted the way you work?
Physically, the way I work has been affected quite strongly, of course, because I used to do a lot of investigative work, chasing criminals down the street with a microphone. And that's obviously hard in a wheelchair. It's not impossible, but it's certainly hard in a wheelchair. I've done many, many quite edgy doorsteps in my time. So that part of my work has now finished. But in a way, it makes me probably more empathetic, I hope. And it makes it easier to relate to people in terms of the stories I choose to do. I mean, I'm interested in social justice journalism. I've always been interested in social justice journalism. If it's a cause I believe in, then I want to try and investigate it if I think I can really add something to the mix. So from that point of view, being ill and being disabled has, in a way, been an advantage, really, because it certainly helps you build a rapport with people who may be suffering at the moment.
How would you compare the you that became ill in 2012 with the you that we have now?
It's been a massive change, and it's been very difficult to deal with in many respects, but I actually see some benefits psychologically compared with the person I used to be, compared with the person I am now. I see that I'm able to see things in more perspective. I think it's probably helped me professionally as well. So there are lots of things I miss. Don't get me wrong, being this ill is not a good thing to endure. But I do take some positives from it, which is a bizarre thing to say, but some.
Okay. Richard, thank you.